Let's get ready to read comic books.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This week we are reading Kyle Stark's Wrestle Heist, a 5-issue miniseries that just came out starting in December of last year into this year.
April of this year.
April, that's the day.
And welcome back to Thompson's Comic Corner. We do, a couple little special intros, and we had to hit them with the wrestling intro.
There goes
You
the Michael
know,
Buffer.
yeah, like I don't want people to know, Zach Thompson in this corner, 5'7", 150. That's all I got. Ain't nobody scared of that. I'll be out here putting a little lucha mask on, man. I'm a little cruiserweight.
Just don't go baby Forte on us. Why is he wearing a sombrero?
That's the point. So our book this week is Kyle Stark's Image Wrestle Heist, which I had remember seeing this being solicited last year and was like, oh man, I was like, that looks like a lot of fun. And the covers all look like the late 90s, early 2000s Pro Wrestling Illustrated magazines. So like that really caught my eye. I
Oh
don't know
yeah.
about you, but like that struck me right off.
By the way, I'll introduce myself, Chad Smith from the Last Comic Shop podcast. Tune it in. Lapsed wrestling fan. I haven't watched faithfully for a long time, but when I saw this book hit the shelves, I was down for it. Like just the entire the way that everything is set up, from those covers to the back catalog moments in the back with the ads for all the wrestling videos and the guide to stretching and all that stuff. I love it.
All right, so we're gonna talk about the book, and we're gonna talk about all the characters like the Undertaker and Ultimate
I
Warrior.
mean, Gravedigger,
Yeah,
Beowulf.
and I'm almost positive that that's supposed to be like a hybrid of Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. It kind of looks like Shawn Michaels with the
Oh yeah.
backstory of Bret Hart.
I
So
I was thinking, so like Gravedigger, he's Undertaker, but he's also a little Papa Shango in there.
I could see that. Beowulf is 100% the Ultimate Warrior to the goofy cosmic promos that he cuts at the Burger Shack.
I love that the one guy hates him because he talks like that all the time in real life.
It's so funny. And then
Can't stand that guy.
we could have been best friends. We could have been the best tag team ever. That's so funny. Um, but yeah, so this shit. Where was I going with this? Oh, yeah. So we're gonna talk about the book, but first, all right. So if you go into the last, I think it's like the last 6 to 4 pages of each book, they would have like a column that looked like the old school wrestling magazines, and they would ask questions. Like some of them were like, "Who's your favorite Mount Rushmore?" or "Who's the best tag teams?" or "Who were the best wrestlers to never win the world title in either WCW or WWF?" And I want to answer a couple of those questions because I find that really fun. And also, though, that you like your variety of wrestling, because you were not a fan, then you were a fan, then you weren't a fan, then you were a fan, and now you're not a fan again.
Right?
It's so sporadic. And so I want to know, what wrestler do you think was the best that never won the world title?
Okay. So for me, the first answer is a Rowdy Roddy Piper.
All right.
So as a kid, I was into wrestling and the whole Hulk Hogan rock and wrestling era, with Cyndi Lauper and Sergeant Slaughter and all those guys, Captain Lou. And Roddy Piper was just the best bad guy. He gave the best promos. Piper's Pit was the best segment on wrestling. You always knew it was going to be energetic. You always knew it was going to be awesome. And he never got the championship. Now, in his defense, he never needed the championship because he was so darn good. And like Piper was an old school wrestler guy. He was one of those people that, he could stretch people out if he needed to. Like you did not mess with Roddy Piper in real life, let alone in the wrestling ring. But in the squared circle, like he was just great. He could put on great matches with anybody. And he was one of the best talkers in the biz. So I think for me, it's definitely Piper.
He always showed up to chew bubble gum and kick ass. Was always out of bubble gum.
That's right. And just when you thought he had all the answers, he changed the questions. But yeah, Piper's my number one pick. If I have to pick a second, I'm going to go William Regal. Just because
Ooh.
I love William Regal, and you would always hear stories like the backstage William Regal is the guy that also in real life, not a guy you would mess with, right?
Oh yeah, no, he looks like he'd really like one punch would knock you out.
Right. But like his promos were always super goofy and super fun. And like he seemed like he had a really great personality. But I wonder what it would be like if they actually took him seriously and gave him a title run. Because I don't think he ever got above the IC belt in
No, no.
WWE.
So for me, all right, the one wrestler, if I, my one B would be Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig.
Okay. Can't go wrong there.
I love technical wrestling. So like Bret Hart is one of my favorite wrestlers. So obviously, I guess my pick would be his clone pretty much. Actually, I think he was a better wrestler, was Owen Hart.
Oh.
Owen Hart never got the opportunity. Now, granted, now he did wrestle Bret for the title in a steel cage match at SummerSlam. I want to say like '93, and
Okay.
then he wrestled Bret at WrestleMania 10, but that wasn't for the belt. That was just a badass opening match, which Owen Hart never got the credit that he deserved. That he could put anybody. They always said Shawn Michaels was the guy that if you wanted to put somebody in the ring with to elevate them, put him in the ring with Shawn Michaels. And it's like, nah, dude, Owen Hart could make chicken salad out of chicken shit with anybody. And
Yeah.
his
No,
promos were so good. Oh,
he was just doing his Blue Blazer stuff when I first started watching wrestling again. And that was tragic.
I remember he was, they called him. Oh, what was it? I can't remember the name they called him. He had a nickname when the Rocket. He was the Rocket,
Okay.
became the Intercontinental Champion, and then him and Brett feuded, and he lost the belt, and then he tag teamed with the British Bulldog, and then he did the thing with the Nation of Domination where they called him a Nugget, where he like, yeah, it was him and like they were feuding with DX, and then he was doing the Blue Blazer thing, and then he had his unfortunate accident at Over the Edge. And I remember being like 5 years old watching that. So
Oh,
yeah, like we were the family that ordered all the pay-per-views. So like I remember that moment. So but yeah,
yikes.
yeah,
Yeah, no,
Owen Hart
that's
would be the guy.
I could say he's another guy that, the brief moments I saw, he had a ton of personality too. And like Bret Hart, I a lot of the Bret Hart I saw Bret Hart before he was a big time singles wrestler. Like he was still the Hart Foundation guy.
Yeah.
And then I took my break and I came back and Bret Hart was just real mad.
Yeah,
Real
dude,
mad.
He was the Canadian heel. He was the guy hate America. He has a hockey team named after him. Just saying. I mean, that's pretty cool. Calgary Hitmen.
That is pretty awesome.
Yeah. All right. So now we're going to transition into the other question, which I didn't tell you beforehand. So this is
Okay.
off the top of your head. Who is your favorite tag team all time?
So I'm going to go real esoteric. I'm going to say Team Eck. You know who Team Eck is?
No.
Edge, Christian, and Kurt. They
Oh,
were a three-man group for a hot minute. It was the best. It was back when Edge and Christian would carry around their kazoos
oh
and do
God.
the 5 second poses. And like,
Yes.
dude, when I got back into wrestling in college and the tag team division between Edge and Christian and the Hardy Boys and the Dudley Boys, and they were supplemented by guys like the APA with Farouk and JBL, and like the tag team division was where it's at. But I love Kurt Angle. I'm a Pittsburgh guy. I think Kurt Angle is one of the best wrestlers of all time. Doesn't get his due, but yeah. So those combined, that would be my favorite team. But
Uh,
yeah,
I can't hate it. That's a good choice. See,
what about for you?
all right. So growing up, I was big. I was young for the Monday Night Wars,
Okay,
so I got to see everything. I saw it from the beginning all the way to WCW 2000, 2001. That was terrible. But
yeah.
so I got to watch Kevin Nash and Scott Hall make their debut. Well, that's Razor and that's Diesel,
Oh yeah,
and
the
they became the
Outsiders.
Outsiders. Yeah, and they were just so badass and so cool. And I mean, Kevin Nash had like the coolest nickname. Everybody called him Big Sexy. I mean, who wouldn't want to be Big Sexy? So Yeah, so for me, it was them two, and like they always won. It didn't matter if they were the good guys or the bad guys, if they won clean, if they cheated.
Right.
They did it with such style.
There you go. Yeah, dude, the NWO blew up so huge. So
Yes.
huge.
One of my favorite moments is so if you watch, it's like the third episode where the NWO is around. Kevin Nash actually launches Rey Mysterio into a TV like
Oh,
truck head first, and it actually caused people to think that like they were actually taking over and like it was a hostile thing that people actually called in 911 and like police cruisers and ambulances and fire trucks showed up at Nitro because they thought something was going on. Yep.
they bought in. They believed the
Yeah.
hype.
They thought it was real. Like they really thought something was wrong. So like I always thought that was really cool that like, you did so well at your job that you made people think that it was for real.
Oh yeah. And that's the thing about pro wrestling. I can't stand when people are like, "Oh, you know it's fake, right?" Like, so is every play you have ever seen. So is every TV show. Like, it's all fake. It's all scripted for entertainment purposes. And the stuff these guys are doing out there, not only are they, entertaining, but they're putting their bodies on the line. And, like, there's a price these guys have to pay for all the stuff they're doing out there. And, like, they should get more respect, not less, for
Yeah,
what
and
they do.
and so now it's a good way to transition into the book that we read, which was Wrestle Heist, written, drawn, and I think inked by Kyle Starks. I think that's what it says.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and he had a colorist.
Vlad Popov.
Yeah, and so I didn't know Kyle Starks did the art in this book. Like I had no idea because like I just bought it off Kindle and it doesn't tell you like all the
Okay.
creators. It just says like who the writer is. So like I'm like who's doing this? And I'm like, man, I really like this. I really like the cartoon style of it.
Oh, dude, you have to read more Kyle Stark stuff. He is hilarious. Books like
I,
Kill 'Em All, Six Sidekicks of Trevor Keaton. Like,
I
there's a
know
ton of
him.
stuff.
I know him from Peacemaker. Tries
There
hard.
you go.
Yeah.
That was awesome. But yeah, he was just the writer on that one.
Yeah, that stuff like that's how I got introduced to him. I own that in all six issues and the trade paperback or the hardcover because that book is just he made me a fan of before John Cena because I had never watched the show, so he made me a
Right?
fan of Peacemaker. So I like his writing. So we transition from pro wrestling saying that it's all scripted. We know it's scripted. Everybody knows.
Right.
But this book kind of gives you the same idea. You know it's scripted. They know the ending. They talk about the matches. But like then you see like there's shit that actually happens that, it can go south. And the best part to think about it is our main character gets his neck broken, right? And his career is technically over. How many times have we actually seen that in real pro wrestling?
Right?
There's been a
I'm
lot of that.
that happened to Kurt Angle, happened dude, I was so deep into pro wrestling and like you get the stuff they put on TV, which is the story they're telling you. And then sometimes fans go they get the behind the scenes. They go to the dirt, what do they call them? The dirt rags or
The
whatever.
dirt sheets.
The dirt sheets.
Yeah.
There you go. But I used to know like the names of the surgeons that Kurt Angle and Edge were going to get their neck fusions. Dr. James Andrews. Like you could there's the soap opera behind the scenes in real life and like who's got heat with who and who had to go to wrestler's court with the Undertaker and like all that stuff.
So, and you kind of get that, and I see that like Kyle Starks did a lot of homework when he wrote this, and like it's a goofy story, it's crazy, it's something that would probably never happen in real life. You would never get away with this, but the actual shenanigans, like the politics, I believe is real, and
Oh,
and you
absolutely.
see that because he takes part of the story is like the Montreal screw job or like the guy's too old he needs to go wrestlers and like you see like that stuff actually building up in this and the promoter is like the Vince McMahon but he looks like Paul Heyman
Yeah.
and and we can joke about that all we want but like some of this stuff was real and actually did happen
Oh,
so
you can tell Kyle Starks is somebody that was
loves pro
into
wrestling.
yeah, was into the behind the scenes stuff and following what was going on and like because like think about you brought up WCW. I was watching the night that Shane showed up on WCW TV
Yes.
and you're thinking, oh man, WCW's coming to the WWE. What's gonna happen? But it turns out Vince McMahon's obsession with being on top wouldn't let anybody from WCW have any sort of glow up, any sort of traction. Like he just continued to bury those guys, and it ruined the angle. They had to bring in ECW and the Alliance and all that other stuff, and what could have been the best thing in wrestling,
Well,
not so much.
the biggest issue that he had with that was like the biggest star that he could take over at that very moment was Booker T, because everybody else had like these guaranteed deals that
Oh
Vince was
yeah,
like, I ain't dealing with that. So what had happened was they got paid. So like your Goldbergs or your like Ric Flairs and
yeah,
Sting was the biggest one. Their contracts, they just waited till their contracts were up and then they went wherever they wanted to go. They didn't have to go to WWE.
right. I
And
actually just saw a thing
Vince
on YouTube with Rey
buried him.
Mysterio where like Jim Ross sat him down. He's like, "Well, listen, get paid with the Ted Turner money and let your body heal, and then we'll bring
Yep.
you in afterwards." So yeah, like they had who like Booker T and Buff Bagwell who lasted
Yeah.
like an episode.
Yeah. But yeah, Buff Bagwell lasted one episode. God. Yeah,
But yeah,
Buff
but
did
Vince
not
wouldn't
have
put
the
those
stuff.
guys over, and that's on top of some of this other stuff where like he's accused of being racist and homophobic, and like pro
What was
wrestling's
it?
a pretty tough go.
What was it? What WrestleMania? I can't think of the 41 maybe. No, 31, 31. The one where Sting took on Triple H and they wouldn't let Sting go over because oh, he's WCW.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, don't get me started on that. That pissed me off. It should have been the Undertaker and Sting. They could have put on one
Oh
good match.
yeah.
That's all we needed.
Dude, yeah, Undertaker. When I started watching wrestling, Undertaker was old. Or when I came back in college, Undertaker was old, like moved laboriously, and like he is like I couldn't understand why people were so obsessed with the Undertaker. And
Oh,
then like as he got older, I felt like he got so much better in my mind.
yes.
Where like I got to appreciate like, no, this guy really knows what the heck he's doing out there. And like I'm the one guy I enjoyed the American Badass version of Undertaker when he started
He
using the MMA style moves and stuff.
he put on his best match. Him and Shawn Michaels put on their best matches, and Taker was like 48, and
Yeah,
Shawn was 46 years old.
it's insane.
Yeah, so just think about that. That was WrestleMania. That was in Phoenix. I can't remember like WrestleMania 28, 29, somewhere in that ballpark. It was in Phoenix, Arizona. I do know that.
There
That
you
was the
go.
night that Edge won the title, and then he had to relinquish it the night after because he said that his neck was broken and all that. Yeah. Oh man, that was such a good era. All right, so our main character is Sterling Steele, the lovable heel. He is a heel. The fans hate him, but God, everybody loves working with him because he's the constant professional. He's such a good guy. He asks how your family is, how the kids are doing. Did you get the baby shower gift? Well, everybody
Yeah.
likes him except the promoter.
Well, then that's only because he's on his way out the door. He's trying to
Sounds like
go
sounds like a Vince McMahon, Bret Hart.
a little bit.
But what was the name of the pay per view? It's oh,
Fights Giving is the big one.
Fights Giving, yeah. So that's the big, that's like the Starcade because I mean it takes place in November. So Buddy Hansen, which is like our Vince McMahon, Paul Heyman character, he's pretty much gonna screw over Sterling Steele because he's leaving to go to a rival promotion because they offered him more money and they're gonna put the title belt on him. Something that Buddy Hansen says that he will not do. And you think that it's like, oh, hey, it's all hunky dory, like he's just burying the hatchet. And then he has the other wrestler, which is Guy Grudges. That's a name. Break his neck in a pile driver, and it paralyzes him for the time being. And his career's over. His neck broken. He can't wrestle no more.
Yeah.
And you would think that that's where the story would end. Dun dun dun.
That was like page 3.
Yeah, yeah. Like they buried him pretty quick. So then Steele comes up with an idea of how he's going to get back to him, and he's going to steal money from Buddy Hansen. And we follow him, and he gets a group of couple crazy old uh, drug addicts. That's one of my favorite. All right, so okay, we're fast forwarding really quick because I got to get this in. My favorite part of the book is when what is his name? Because his dad's Ocho
There's
Bolo.
yeah, it's Ocho Bolo and Hijo de Ocho Bolo.
There you go. When the son is getting ready to do his part in the heist, and he goes to snort a bunch of cocaine, and his dad shoves it over the building, and he's like, "Man, you just got a lot of people a little high instead of me a lot of high." That was hilarious. Like that was just so funny. Like that was oh man.
There was a lot. Yeah, you have all these old timey wrestlers, and then the one guy's kid who's just like he's in debt to the guy that runs the Titty House.
The titty house, I forgot about that.
I love the ad where it's like Titty House TM. You want him? We got him. Like it's so ridiculous. But like, yeah, the Hijo de Ocho Bolo is not going down the right path in
No,
this
and you know
story.
what? I do like the fact though that like he turns a leaf and at the end of the book he does like become
Yeah.
champion and I do like that. And I mean the book has a happy ending. I don't want to ruin everything for everybody. Go read this book for real. Like go buy this book. The trade paperback comes out. We're recording this actually the week 2 weeks before it comes out. It comes out July 8th. I'm not sure the date when this will come out, but anywho, it should be out by then. Um, but the single issues didn't sell very well.
Right.
They even say that in like issue 4 or 5, like it's in one of the little ads.
Yeah, it's like, hey, you want more of this? Convince your friends to buy more Wrestle Heist. So we're here trying to convince you folks listening to this right now. Go buy Wrestle Heist because I want those other stories.
Yes, he now if you buy the trade paperback, there is a 6 page extra short story that has not been printed yet.
Man, from the Patreon.
Yep. So I mean, unless you did the Patreon thing, I don't do Patreon. I
I didn't do the Patreon. I was sad I missed out. They did a Youngblood cover,
oh
and I got to the shop late that day and did not get one.
oh yeah, they did, and they also did a Fairyland prom or crossover cover.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I have the one for Dork that has the F word on it.
Nice.
Yeah, my shop ordered it by accident, and they were like, "Hey, you really like that word, so we put one aside for you." And I was like, "That's awesome! I'm taking it."
Ah, that's hilarious. But yeah, before we go into the book proper, like the back matter was just so much fun. Where they would rank the top 5 wrestlers. The ads where the one ad is always looking for pictures of female
Beef.
wrestlers, and it progresses as they go issue by issue. And by issue 5, it's like the state police need your help. We're looking for reports that a cash for pics business could be trafficking illicit materials and pornographic materials. And then the photo ad is like, what? We told you it wasn't anything weird. Like it's hilarious. I loved it so much.
I love Kyle Stark's sense of humor. And like I said, I've only read his Peacemaker run, so like I knew what I was getting into when we talked about like the books that you had that you wanted to read, and I'm like, I'm really intrigued by the covers of this. And the guy who wrote it's pretty good.
Oh yeah. Oh,
So,
that's I have a bunch to recommend for you if you like this. So
oh,
he's
I love it.
like Kill 'Em All is a great like buddy cop sort of story. Like I don't he's just hilarious. The Rock Candy Mountain, he doesn't do the art in Rock Candy Mountain. He's just he works with a guy named Chris Schweitzer, I want to say. That's about
Yeah.
hobos and like
Well,
riding the rails and
speaking of those two, they just did an interview with the couples counseling
okay. Oh,
podcast.
those folks are great.
Yeah, they just did an interview with them at Heroes Con,
Okay.
and I highly recommend go listen to that. Those two together are hilarious. That's actually
Oh
what
yeah.
made me. I was listening to that this week when we decided to do this show. So
Nice.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So um, going into the story, you see some like really crazy stuff. And like you see, he retires, Steel retires, and he goes and meets Gravedigger at a like convention, which we have one of those that comes like into town where a bunch of like old wrestlers just show up. You take pictures with them. They have like, little 8x10s they'll sign and stuff. And he like explains, he's like, "Hey man, I want to get back at that guy. You hate him. I hate him. You're the smartest person I know. Let's rob from him. And he's like, well, that's not very smart. So at first he's not in. And then he's like, they continue to talk, and he's like, I got other people. I got a plan. I know how we can do it. And he's like, all right, I'm in. So we got Gravedigger down. Then we get introduced to another character, which is quite possibly the greatest character in all of this, and that is Beowulf. We get introduced to the Ultimate Warrior in this, and that
Now,
man is just as batshit crazy as the actual Ultimate Warrior.
there you go. Now, I most of the guys I thought were kind of crosses, and I was doing some research. He was not part of the era that I cared about, but Magnum TA was a pro wrestler whose career was cut short after a car accident where his car was
Yep.
mangled.
Yep.
And it didn't look like he should have made it out alive, but he did. But he couldn't wrestle anymore after that. So I'm wondering if Beowulf takes a little Magnum TA as well in the
Oh, yeah,
mix.
'cause he also loses his foot, which that comes into play to save their ass later in the end of the book.
Yeah, but you have to mention he loses his foot in a car accident,
Yep.
has it amputated, and then has a funeral
Yeah.
for the foot.
He
And
called it ass kicker.
yeah,
That was
as,
the name of his foot.
as it's going into the great beyond. I wish I had some of those quotes handy, where it's
Oh
just
man.
insane,
Yeah, and
absolutely insane.
he literally talks in the same like goofy way the Ultimate Warrior would do his promos. He's literally ordering like two chicken sandwiches with fries. And the way he says it is just so crazy and off the wall. And he's the locksmith. He's the one that's supposed to help him break into a vault. So, like, if that doesn't tell you that, he may be crazy, but he ain't dumb.
I
And
love
then
how
they,
he was like, all my moves, were indicative of that. He's like, dude, your finisher was a bear hug, the bear lock.
it was just a bear hug, just a normal standard bear hug. Oh man, I love it. We could go on about this book for like probably hours, like, and just pro wrestling in general. You get to see a death match.
Oh yeah, with the fluorescent light bulbs
Yeah,
being
he's like, what the hell
smashed.
are those? And then whack, they break out a weed eater.
Yeah, dude, that reminded me of all like the backyard wrestling guys and like all those small timey promotions.
Yeah, there's a guy, I forget his name. He's from West Virginia, dude. That guy's forehead looks like hamburger meat. He's like the king of death matches. It to each their own. It's not my thing.
Right.
But yeah, so yeah, you get a lot of crazy stuff, and we get um a lot more crazy stuff, and then you get this book's just absolutely nuts.
It
Like
it
it
totally
is.
is. It's
Like it
the best of so many worlds because you get all the behind the scenes pro wrestling stuff. You get some of the in the ring pro wrestling stuff. You get a heist story, and it's one of the best. Like the best heist stories is they're telling you the plan, but you don't know where it's going and all the other things that come along, and they're like, oh, but secretly we got his fingerprints when we had him put his hand on the leather jacket. And you get the absolute just bonkers craziness of the kid who's so mad his dad's wasting all his cocaine.
that part had me. I was reading that. Oh man, I was cackling so loud.
And like, but the thing is too, as ridiculous as it is, and you're laughing at Beowulf and just the way that he talks about everything. There is also like a heart underneath these characters. You feel for Sterling Steele, who was pushed out because he was going to a different promotion, is trying to make his life better. Like he had done everything he was supposed to do and got screwed by this Buddy Hansen guy. You feel for Beowulf when Beowulf talks about why he was fired. And it's like, well, wasn't because you lost your leg. He's like, well, no, it's because of the love of my life. And he pulls open his shirt and he's got a tattoo of his gay partner, and like it's you care about these characters. They're all fleshed out as ridiculous as they are. Like you feel for Gravedigger when he's talking about how only 4 of the 54 wrestlers out there that were champions were black men because black guys only got to be strongmen, singer dancers, or jungle people. Like, there's so much that's twisted and ridiculous about pro wrestling that comes into
and
play here. But
and he hits like all of it on like the head, like Kyle Starks really does. Like he's not wrong in all of this stuff.
oh yeah, how Gravedigger's half blind, and they cut to a panel where the ref's like, "Hey boss, he's pretty concussed, pretty bad. We should maybe take him to the hospital. This is the third one this year." And Buddy Hand's like, "Tell him to suck it up. We got Memphis tomorrow."
Yeah, like
Like,
and that shit really did happen.
yeah,
The only thing that he didn't really cover, because like you see like the drug abuse, you see the neglect of like, the health of your wrestlers. The only thing you don't see is like the steroid use, which that was really big in like the era this takes place. I'm really surprised that he didn't try to sneak that in.
oh, that's true. It's not that there isn't enough other drug use going on, and they even talk about like one of the best female wrestlers, like how they used convinced her to change her body to get plastic surgery, and then they got her
Yep.
hooked on drugs and used that to manipulate her. And like, there's a lot of like really rough sorted stuff in here that you're like, okay, yeah, this, it
It
there's stories that
shows
I don't
you
know for
the
sure, but yeah.
it shows you the dark side of professional wrestling in like a lighthearted way. I guess would
Yeah,
be the best way to describe it. If you're like a diehard wrestling fan, you're gonna love this book.
absolutely. If you know what the Montreal Screwjob is,
You're gonna love this book.
this is, yeah.
This is like, so how do I put it? This is what WCW should have done. The ending of this book is what WCW should have done with Bret Hart when he came in.
There you go. I'm gonna spoil the ending just a little bit
Go for it.
and say that this entire series is the reverse Montreal Screwjob. That's
Yeah.
why you got to read it.
Yep.
Like the ending, the way that it ends, it's just such a picture perfect ending. And like you said, you wish this happened in real life. You wish that Bret Hart, was able to get his comeuppance over Shawn Michaels and Triple H and Vince
Yep.
McMahon and all those guys.
Which he
So
kind of did. I mean, he made a lot of money.
and he got mule kicked by Goldberg and it was real bad. So sorry.
That caught me off guard. I wasn't ready for that. You know what we got out of all of that? There's a
What's that?
video. Listeners, please go find this video on YouTube. Bret Hart hated Bill Goldberg so much, he refused to ever call him Goldberg when they changed his name. So after that, Mean Gene tells him, he says, Bret, he's like, he prefers to go by Goldberg. After that, Bret Hart made it his goal every time he said his name, he'd have to say it like Bill Goldberg. And that's how he said it every time. And then one time he looked at the camera square, like in the dead square in like the ring, and he was like, William Goldberg. Go watch the video. Go watch it. Go watch the video. I love it.
But before we go, the one character we didn't talk about who I quietly loved so much was Fetu Savia,
Oh
Buddy's
yeah,
head
the
of security.
the crazy, crazy man.
Yes, the way he gets to be Buddy's head of security is because he gets in this bar fight and he slaps a guy so hard his eyeball pops out.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
And
And that
like,
wasn't even him mad.
no, but like every mention of this guy's like, you do not want to mess with this guy. He has murder in his heart. And like, he was just the baddest badass ever to badass.
He gets stabbed, folks. He literally gets stabbed and his face just gets red and like steam comes out of his ears and he literally whoops everybody in the bar's ass and the cops' ass.
And they try to tear gas him and he's just breathing it out like a
Yep.
bull. Oh, it was so great.
I 100% recommend this book. Go read this book. It's so much fun. Go, you know what? We don't really do recommendations here. That's usually the Last Comic Shop guys' thing. Last Comic Shop podcast. Go listen to them.
Thanks for the plug.
But I recommend. I had bought the old WCW Marvel comic books, Go read those two. If you want like a nostalgicness, it's campy, it's goofy, but it's so much fun. And then if you want to go have a whole hell of a lot more fun, go read this book.
There you go, man. Yeah, it's the best of comic books and like cartooning with the Kyle Starks art. It's a great story that has everything you want. It's absurd. It has heart. It has danger and violence, and like there are points where you're genuinely concerned for the safety of these characters. And like I said, that ending just it's pitch perfect.
It's chef's kiss is what it is. It's cha-ching. You read the book, you'll get it. All right, well, Chad, I want to thank you for being on the show. Um, we'll have you back on again. I mean, we have like a whole list, the Chad list. So
That's my reading list for the summer. Dude, thanks so much for having me. I always have so much fun talking comic books with you. And talking wrestling is even just as much fun. So thank you.
so me and Chad will have a 90s episode that'll be like an extra. It won't be on the radio or anything, and we can go on for as long as we want. That's the cool part. That's why it won't come out like on the radio. Um, and we will be talking about 90s comics, so we might have to sneak in a little bit of 90s wrestling into that. Just a little bit. Just a
I'll
little bit.
have to dust off my Undertaker Chaos comics.
Let's get it. I got the Rock one somewhere over there. So all right, well, so I want to thank everybody for listening. I want to thank Outworld Fleet Radio for, streaming the shows. They're great people. I want to thank my friends at the Vintage Store. They are just such great people. That's Hailstorm Vintage. They still have like great wall books. I'm telling you, dude, you want to go get some like Silver Age and Golden Age books, they got it. Oh, I got W Energy. Use the promo code at checkout. TCC 2025. Great sugar-free energy drinks. And I want to thank everybody for listening, man. And thank, Chad for coming on to the show and the Last Comic Shop guys for having me on their show all the time. It's a blast. So with that, I hope everybody has a great day and peace out, Cub Scouts.